From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets. All right, here we are. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. What's good, everybody? Let me adjust my camera. Let me get my second pair of eyes too, so I can see a little something. Cause I can't see not a tang right now. Hold on. All right. Hey, yo, yo, man. I'm just glad I can always laugh. We got some things to talk about. And you know, we gonna talk about it. This might be a short show today because it's not. I don't really have much to talk about, but I do have a little something. You know, we have people joining and they want to chime in, and you know, we can keep the party going. But I don't really have much to talk about. But what I do have is something funny. Yeah, man. So today. Hold on, let me finish that up. Today we have RICHARDSON Hitchins. Of course, you know, we had the fight that some people say was controversial this past weekend. You know, I didn't really see me personally right there. I didn't see the controversy at all between RICHARDSON Hitchins and Gustavo Lemos. You know, I think you know, let's start off first. You know, first we go give a shout out to the ladies, man. The ladies been going crazy, man. You know, shout out to Sky Nicholson and Sarah Mahfoud. I thought that was the best fight of the night, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? It was entertaining. You know what I'm saying? Sarah came out there doing a little TikTok dance out there, looking like tanking Richardson Hitchins and Adrian Broner. You know what I'm talking about? That doing that little TikTok dance. I said, okay. Oh, that look good. Australian girl out there, man. Out there doing her little jig. Hey, you know, I wasn't mad at that at all, man. One time for Aussie boxing, man, Australian lady, I should say. You know, she's a grown woman, so Australian woman out there doing the thing, man. She was stunting on them too, you know, and she deserved it. When you perform well, you work hard. You're supposed to celebrate and dance a little bit and enjoy yourself. So I had nothing wrong with that, man. You know, some people feel like you showing up your opponent, but that's the kind of cloth we cut from, man. That's a driving forces competition. You talk a little trash, have a little showboat. You know, if you don't like it, then stop it. You know, so that's just how I go, man. But so shout out to Sky Nicholson. I look forward to seeing more of her. I know she called out Amanda Serrano, and apparently Amanda Serrano has called her out too. But you know, since then I saw that Amanda Serrano might be trying to get a revenge on Katie Taylor. So it seems like they're having a showdown this summer. They're gonna have part 2. You know, I know that Katie Taylor gave Amanda Serrano her first and only loss. I don't remember how long ago that was, but yeah, she has her first. No, sorry. Amanda Serrano has 2 losses. I'm sorry. She has, who she lose to again? She lost early in her career. I always forget about that one. I don't remember who it was to, so don't get me the line. But she has a loss from early on, and then Katie Taylor gave her most recent loss, and so she wants to avenge that. But yeah, so big shout out to her. And then now this for me personally, the second fight, well, not the second fight of the night, but they don't want Subriel Smoke. What up, Connor, bro? Connor in the building. What's good? I agree with you. We gonna get there when we get there. Give me a second. What's up, Connor? Appreciate you joining the show, man. Welcome to Dr. Boxing Talk. I agree with you. I agree. Hey. But I have some stuff I want to say about that, though, because I don't think it's as clear-cut as they just don't want the smoke. But we gonna get there. We making our way there now. Diego Pacheco versus Sean McCallum, who is an undefeated fighter from America. They had a good fight. I thought that this fight, me personally, I thought this fight was closer than the Gustavo Lemos versus RICHARDSON Hitchins. You know, it's funny that people love to talk about robbery. No one said that was a robbery. I don't think it was a robbery. You know, because I have common sense and I think that I watch boxing, so I know that close fights exist. Everything that doesn't go your way or where you anticipate isn't necessarily a robbery. So I thought Diego Pacheco won a very close fight. I think that fight was closer than I think his fight with Sean McCallum was closer than RICHARDSON Hitchins and Gustavo Lemos was. But shout out to Diego Pacheco. He is fighting an awkward fighter. You know, and Sean McCollum did his thing, you know, but his O had to go and he took the L. And I thought it was a very close fight, but I thought the right person won. Now let's get to Richardson Hitchins and Gustavo Lemos. You know, a lot of people thought that this was a robbery. I also don't think it was a robbery. Like, I think you could have it 115, 113 for Hitchins. However, with that being said, I could see it if someone had it a draw as well. I could also see it slightly going like maybe one round for Gustavo Lemos or something like that. But I think 115, 113 for Lemos is kind of, I don't know. That's kind of hard for me to see, but I guess, you know what I'm saying? You know, I can see it maybe being a draw at best for Lemos, in my personal opinion. I can also see it be 116, 112, which is what I had it. You know, I had it 116, 112. I just thought that Lemos had big moments, but he didn't have enough big moments. You know, he had good moments, but he didn't have enough. Like, I thought Hitchins outpointed him. Like, I kept score. Like, here's my scorecard right here. I had 10-9, and I take notes. 10-9, I gave the first round to Hitchins. I gave the second round to Lemos, 10-9 for Lemos. I gave the third round for Hitchins. But I put very close. That's a swing round. To me, the third round's a swing round. Could have went either way for Hitchins or Lemos. So if you want to give it to Lemos, that's fine. I gave it to Hitchins. So fourth round, I thought it was Hitchins clear. Fifth round, I thought it was Hitchins clear. I thought 6th and 7th was Hitchins clear. I thought 8th and 9th were Lemos clear. And then I thought 10th round was very close. Could have went for Hitchins or Lemos. I gave it to Hitchins because I think in the 10th round, Hitchins was clinching even more than the 8th, you know, because the 8th is when Lemos really got to him. I saw some people say that they had the 8th round and 10-8 round. I think that's too much in my opinion. I don't think it was a 10-8 round because, you know, you can get a 10-8 round without a knockdown. It doesn't have to be a knockdown to get a 10-8 round, but I just think that's kind of much. When is Ryan Garcia fight? What's up, Luke Hutchinson? What's good? What's good? They're fighting. What's good, Luke? Welcome to the show. Ryan Garcia, and well, that's if Ryan Garcia fights. They're fighting on the April 20th. So in about 2 weeks, brother. About 2 weeks. And then in the 10th, 11th, I said that was a very close round. I called those swing rounds. I could have went either way, the 10th, 11th, and then the 12th round, I gave it to Lemos clear. So I had it 116, 112. But if you give like two of those close rounds to Lemos and one of those close rounds to Hitchins, it's a draw. You know what I'm saying? If you gave all three of the close rounds to Lemos, then I could see him winning. Obviously, he would win 115, 113. But I just don't think that I thought that Hitchins did enough to outpoint him and to outbox him. And this is, in my opinion, like a robbery. If it's a close fight and you can see it going either way, how is that a robbery? You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's contradictory. If you're saying, even if Lemos would have won, okay. If Hitchins would have won, okay. If it was a draw, okay. I'm cool with all three outcomes. I personally had Hitchins winning, but I'm cool with all three outcomes. So just because, let's say I want Hitchins to win and Lemos loses, sorry, if I want Hitchins to win and Lemos wins, how could I say it's a robbery if I honestly could feel like it could go either way? So to me, those are contradictory. A robbery is a clear cut, the wrong person won. So I always go back to this. To me, Michaela Mayer versus Natasha Jonas, that was a robbery. To me, there's no way that Natasha Jonas beat Michaela Mayer. Another robbery that was most recent. I'm not going back way back. Of course, there's more robberies throughout the history of the prolific history of boxing, the sport we love. I'm just talking about the more recent fights. Another fight was, I think his name was Kenshiro Taraji versus Carlos Canizales. I don't know how Taraji beat Canizales. Carlos Canizales clearly won, and Taraji won. That's a robbery. So when the fight could go either way, you could have a clear winner in a close fight, and you could have a very close fight that could go either way, like Lomachenko and Devin Haney. I had Lomachenko beating Devin Haney, but I cannot call that a robbery because it was so close. It was like 1 or 2 rounds different. So I could see how I had Devin Haney winning. I could see how somebody had Lomachenko winning. I could see how somebody had it a draw. So if it's a very close fight that could go either way, how the hell could it simultaneously be a robbery?
Me blood clot.
It literally doesn't make sense. So it's just robbery is a term that people just throw around just like ducking. And speaking of ducking, people are saying that Richardson Hitchins, who just won the eliminator to be the mandatory for IBF on Saturday, 2 days ago, they're saying that he's ducking Subriel Matias. Bro, we gotta do better, man. The man, bro, how can he Subriel Matias has a fight with Liam Paro in June. It is only April. How can somebody be ducking somebody to where he doesn't even know if Subriel... What if Subriel Matias loses to Liam Paro? What if there's an injury? God forbid. What if sustained an injury like Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, and he gets postponed? You know, sustained an injury. You know, he was cut, but I think he was cutting up some booger sugar. You know what I'm talking about? Cutting up that white girl. Adam Hurley in the building. But yeah, I just think we gotta be more. Maybe people don't know what words mean too. That's true. Because sometimes people just use words all willy nilly. They be having words in their vernacular that had no business being in their vernacular. You know what I'm talking about? They just use the word. Don't mean it's really in their vocabulary. You know what I'm talking about? So they might not really know what they're saying. That's always a possibility too. That's plausible. But if you go use a word, I'm gonna take you for that word. And to say that he's ducking, it's crazy. Like they said that, like. And what they're saying is, so what do you think about Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight? Well, I just dropped a video on that, man. I think that's crazy. I think it's fine now because of exhibition. But the fact that they're thinking about having a pro sanction fight, I think that's local. Thoughts on a potential rematch for... No. Hey, Jermaine in the building. I think a rematch is cool. I love to see a rematch. I would love to... Do I think it's going to happen? No. I would love to see a rematch, Jermaine. Lemos definitely deserves a rematch. I agree. Lemos deserves a shot at somebody else with a name. I agree, Adam. I agree with that too. I thought he edged it out. And I'm not mad at that, Adam. Hey, I'm not one of those if we disagree, bro. We got some common ground, bro. If someone had Lemos winning, I don't see it, but I don't think that's far-fetched. That's why it's a very close fight that could have went either way. But to say it's a robbery, like I was saying with Lomachenko and Devin, I had Lomachenko winning, but it was so close, I could see it being a draw. I could see Devin slightly edging out. So how could it be a robbery if it's a very close fight that could have went either way? You see what I'm saying? So I think people just get so infatuated with their favorite fighter and so enamored with them getting the W that they don't use common sense. They abandon all common sense. But Jake Paul and what you said? Edwin said Subriel will make Hitchins look like Michael Blackson. That's crazy. Edwin in the building. Now, what's wrong with Michael Blackson, man? A handsome melanated brother. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what that means. I don't know why Michael Blackson catches strays. But Lemos deserves. I agree. Lemos deserves a shot. I think I'm okay, Luke, with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fighting because of the exhibition. If it was a pro sanction fight, I'm not with that because pro sanction fight means it has implications for somebody to use Mike Tyson or one of them to use the other as a claim to getting a shot at a real fighter when Jake Paul hasn't fought anybody that's a legitimate fighter. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson is the biggest name, and the biggest name is fine because he's the icon, right? He's a legend. But he's the most legitimate fighter that he's fought, and the dude's almost 60 years old. He's going to be 58 by the time they step in the ring. He's 30 years Jake Paul senior. Damn near geriatric. He's senior citizen. Come on, man. So that's crazy. Lemos deserves. I agree that Lemos deserves a shot at somebody. But look, so after the fight, Hitchins said that he might want a tune-up. So I didn't get to finish my thought. So people have been saying that Hitchins is ducking Subriel Matias, even though he's a mandatory, because he said he wants a tune-up. Bro, Liam Paro and Subriel Matias are fighting in June. So what if Richardson Hitchins, if he's not that hurt, what if he wants another fight between then? Should he not fight until the winner of Liam Paro and Subriel Matias? If he could get another fight between now and then, or even shortly after, what's wrong with that? So people just jump to conclusions. And if you even watch the same video in which Richardson Hitchins says that he wants another fight before a championship, he even said, hey man, shoot, if I can't find one, if I go back to the drawing board, there's no fights there, hey, I'll even fight a title, I'll even go for a world championship right immediately. Now, the thing that I will say is this. You know, they've been looking at the winner of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia as well. And also, Eddie Hearn has been looking at Subriel Matias versus Isaac Cruz. So my point is that Richardson Hitchins might not even be next in line to get Subriel Matias despite being the mandatory anyway. Because if Subriel Matias beats Liam Paro, who do you think's a bigger fight? You think they're gonna want between PBC, Al Heyman, and Eddie Hearn in Matchroom, you think they're gonna want Subriel Matias versus Richardson Hitchins after that last performance? Or you think the bigger fight is Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Subriel Matias after that last performance? Who do you want to see? I know me, I'd rather see Cruz versus Matias. So people just be throwing out these ducking words. It's crazy, man. Now to answer that question though, do I think Hitchins could beat Subriel Matias? Not after that last performance. I'm be honest, I don't think Hitchins beats anybody at 140. That's a champion. So I don't think he beats Devin Haney. I don't think he beats Cruz. I don't think he beats Subriel. I don't think he beats Teofimo. Now, with that said though, I want to also be clear. Richardson Hitchins versus Lemos, styles make fights. And stylistically, you know, you would think on paper that Hitchins would have been able to outpoint him, outbox him, outjab him all night rather easily. I know that's what I thought. But Gustavo Lemos, sometimes you can't anticipate that type of persistence, that type of relentless pressure, you know. It wasn't as effective as like Isaac Pitbull Cruz. I wouldn't say it was as durable as Isaac, because even in that fight, if you really watch the fight, you see Richardson Hitchins had Lemos he stunned him a couple times, and we know Isaac Pitbull Cruz is very, very, very durable. But you know, I think Lemos was just made it an ugly fight, and Hitchins couldn't shine. And then Hitchins was definitely, he was hugging a lot now. He was hugging like it was Valentine's Day out there, like it was Love Day on the court. He was doing a lot of hugging, but he was trying to make sure that he gets a win. And I do applaud him for taking some chances too. I think he could have played it. He could have made a safer fight. He could have played it safer, but I think he wanted to try to give people an exciting fight, and I think he did that. You know. Now with that being said, like as far as that just being, I think that was a bad performance for Richardson Hitchins. And I want to say this too, like at the 135 to 140 pound division, lightweight to super lightweight, everybody has had a bad performance, right? Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos, shitty performance. Teofimo versus Jermaine Ortiz, shitty performance. And in fact, Teofimo had a shitty performance against George Kambosos, in which he lost, and Sandor Martin, which he won. Shitty performances. Devin Haney and Lomachenko could have went either way, but Lomachenko's an elite fighter, so I'm not holding it against him. I'm just saying the first Kambosos against Devin Haney won the best, and then even against Jorge Linares, he got hurt, he got stunned. He looked phenomenal against Regis Prograis though. But my point is that everybody, even Subriel Matias, people think that, oh, he's the boogeyman. Yeah, he's a tough cookie, but he lost to Petros Ananian, who actually dropped him. He didn't actually fall on the floor, but it was called a technical knockdown because the ref gave him a count because he felt like he got knocked from one side of the ring to the other side of the ring, and the ropes were the only thing that held him up. So it counted as a knockdown, and he lost that fight. Now, granted, Subriel Matias came back and avenged that fight. You know, he beat everybody he stepped in the ring with, but he does have a loss to Petros Ananian. So, like, these guys aren't untouchable. No one's untouchable, you know. It's just funny that all the top guys had a bad night except for Tank. Tank's only bad night, Gervonta Davis' bad night, people say was against Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and Isaac Pitbull Cruz looks even better now after what he did to Rolly Romero. You know what I'm saying? He's a good fighter, and people say he's a bad night just because he didn't knock him out. You know, I thought Tank clearly won that fight. I don't think it was a bad night. I think it was just people just so enamored and infatuated with knockouts, so they think if it's not a knockout, then it's a bad night. But I thought it was straight, but. So the point is that everybody could have a bad night, but still with that said, I think Richardson Hitchins loses to all the champions at 140 right now. He has to prove otherwise. It was funny. Like I said, I don't think you should sleep on, people just think it's written in stone that Subriel Matias is going to beat Liam Paro. I was like, what if Liam Paro wins? What if Liam Paro beats Subriel Matias? Do you still want to see Richardson Hitchins versus Liam Paro? Who wants to see that? Like, I would want to see it. I watch boxing, but it's not neither one of them are household names, so it's not going to be like a big splash, you know? No one's chomping at the bit or beating outdoors to get Liam Paro versus Richardson Hitchins. I think Liam Paro has a good chance, but I might be alone in that because Tank's coach was Coach Ellis. He actually was on Mill City Boxing. He said the only way that Liam Paro could beat Subriel Matias is if Subriel Matias comes in with COVID. I said, come on, bro. I said, yo, that's disrespectful, bro. Right now, I'm the only one who thinks Isaac bugged Rolly, and now he the B-side if Tank wants a real belt. Wait, so you're saying that you think, you said, am I the only one who thinks Isaac mugged Rolly, and now he the B-side if Tank wants a real belt? Well, I'm going to be honest, man. I don't think, first of all, I think 135 is a good division, too, and he said he wants to campaign at 135, so I don't have any issue with him campaigning at 135, but if he does want to move up to 140 and get a rematch with Pitbull, that'd be cool. But I don't think it's like a real or fake belt. But I do think I don't care to see that rematch, to be honest. But if it did happen, I would have Tank winning. And he's definitely the B side. I mean, I don't see anybody that would be the A side over if Gervonta's involved with the fight. I don't think anybody would be the A side. Who would be the A side? So I don't think all the way from Devin Haney to Teofimo, none of them will be the A side over Gervonta. Especially after their. Like the closest one will be Devin Haney, and Devin Haney's not even the A side. If you I don't know how much you pay attention to it, but Devin Haney's not even the A side against Ryan Garcia, and he's accomplished way more, you know. But there's other metrics that are involved when these negotiations come out, you know. Devin Haney's a champion, and he's accomplished more in the sport so far. But if you talk about A side as far as revenue split, they just came out that Devin Haney's getting 45. It's a 55-45 split, and Ryan Garcia's getting the bigger chunk, you know. And I think he's rightfully so. I mean, I think he's a bigger name. That don't mean he's a better boxer. A lot of people could confuse those two. Like, you could be a bigger name. I think Ryan Garcia is one of the biggest names in boxing. He's not one of the best in boxing, but he's definitely one of the biggest names. And that's just cold hard truth. If you disagree with that, then you just ignore and you don't like facts. So yeah, I could see Tank fighting Esau people. I don't think he will though. I don't think he's gonna move. I think he's gonna stay at 135. But we'll see though. You know, we got to see Tank versus Frank. I think that's a good match that I think people are overlooking. You know, I think that's gonna be a good matchup. I think Tank got to come with it because Frank Martin is a very good fighter, and we'll see how it goes, man. I think that I think that's a better matchup than Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, especially, you know, with us not knowing if Ryan Garcia is coming in mentally stable, you know, and healthy and stuff like that. But if it does happen, of course, with the background and the lore that Ryan Garcia has with Devin Haney, you know what I'm saying, their amateur background going 3-3, you know, and then this will be in the 7th fight and the first fight of their professional careers to decide the rivalry, you know, whether it's a friendly rivalry or young rivalry, whatever, or rivalry since they were youngsters. It has a lot of history, but as far as competitively, I think Tank versus Frank is a much better fight. But we'll see though, man. Ryan Garcia could touch him up because Devin Haney's been touched before, you know, on that chin. So I don't know, man. But I just think people need to be careful, not be so judgmental on some of these fights. Some of the fighters deserve it, you know. But I think we gotta chill and give Richardson Hitchins a chance to show that, you know, he wants to be a mandatory and get a shot. He deserved that. That's what this was as a IBF eliminator. Do I think he beat Subriel Matias? No. Do I think? Like I said, I think he'd rather fight, to be honest. I think he'd rather fight as opposed to exercise his mandatory right for the winner of Liam Paro and Subriel Matias. I think he'd rather fight the winner of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. I think him and Devin Haney, that's a good matchup because they have a similar style. You know, I think Devin Haney is just better, and he's been more tested right now. Like I said, I think Richardson Hitchins loses to everybody just going off his last fight. But I think if he could actually be what his potential is, you know, what people say, you know, then, you know, they're all entertaining fights. But I just feel like if Gustavo Lemos could get to you, I have a hard time believing that you'll be able to handle Pitbull's pressure. And now Subriel Matias, I think Subriel Matias is more active than Gustavo Lemos, but I think that Subriel Matias, he's more susceptible to getting hit as well. You know, I think he's a little easier. Not saying Gustavo Lemos wasn't easy to hit, but I think that Subriel Matias is going to be more available to hit, if that makes sense. You know, Gustavo Lemos made it more of a messy fight, and just because of the stylistically how they have it. So did Richardson Hitchins, was all the hugging once he got cut. But I think Subriel Matias is going to be, number one, it's going to be harder to clinch him, but I think he's going to be there to be hit because he's also willing to trade with you, and he's also willing to hit you back. So and they're similar height and all that stuff. So yeah, I think and I like Subriel Matias to be able to take Richardson Hitchins, what Richardson Hitchins could deal out more than I believe that Hitchins could take what Subriel Matias deals out. You know, so I think that he loses to Subriel as well. I definitely think he loses to Teofimo. I think Teofimo is just too explosive for him. But if it's a Teofimo on a bad night, if it's a Teofimo that fought Sandor Martin, then I think Richardson Hitchins has a chance, you know. And Teofimo is very inconsistent, so we don't know which one we're going to get. But I don't think you're wrong for that, Connor, if you're thinking that Tank is going to go try to get the 140 belt. But I don't think he's really interested. Like, what was the last time we seen him fight at 140? Was that against Mario Barrios, right? And he said, yeah, man, he said he don't want to be at 140. He wants to be at 135. So, how long ago was that fight again? I think that's the last time we seen him at 140. So I don't think he really has an interest to go to 140. I don't think he really needs to go to 140 if he doesn't want to. Yeah, his last fight at 140 was against Mario Barrios, and that was in 2021, so 3 years ago. So since then, he fought Pitbull Cruz, Roger Romero, Hector Garcia, and Ryan Garcia. So I don't foresee him going to 140. I mean, to be honest with you, they're talking about him being able to make 130. So I think it's more possible that he might even go down. Depends on where the money's at. You know, like, you know what they're talking about. Now you're anyway potentially moving up. After his fight with Louis Neary, And we never know. Well, if they meet there, I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon, but next year or two, you never know, man. Even though I don't think it's gonna happen, but that's what Tank and Leonard NTB was talking about. He could make 130. So, and then still, they still have Shakur Stevenson. I know a lot of people want to see. I know I do. I still want to see Gervonta and Shakur Stevenson, at 135. And Devin could have fought any one of those guys at 135, but he vacated and went up to after he got a belt. He vacated and went up and fought to 140 and went to Regis Prograis. So. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Tank's gonna move up. I do want to see all these guys fight each other, man. I want to see Teofimo, Gervonta, Shakur, Devin Haney, Subriel Matias. So, like I said, I'll give credit to outside of Isak Pitbull Cruz because Tank fought him, and now Isak is a champion now. But even prior to that, I got to tip my hat off to Ryan Garcia because Ryan Garcia fought Tank. And now he's fighting Devin Haney, man. So as far as skills go, he's not the best out of the top guys, but he definitely has the most heart and the most fighting spirit, man. I gotta salute Ryan Garcia for that. I don't know, take me bullshit and claim he can get a welterweight belt. Yeah, he did say that. But I mean, just because you say that, I think that could come eventually. But I don't know. That's the thing with social media, man. Like a lot of times they just. Not just boxers, but people in general, you know what I'm saying? No matter what profession you're in, they just talk just to keep their name in the headlines. It's like, now I'm not saying Tank going 147 is as far-fetched as this. I'm just using that as an example. Like, Clarissa Shields, what she said, she could beat Keith Thurman. A lot of people be like, oh, my gosh, I hope Keith Thurman knocks her out. First of all, if you hope that a dude hits a girl, to me, that just says, nigga, you's a bitch! I'm going to be honest. Because that's number one. Number two, why would you take her seriously? She's just obviously just trying to stay in the headlines. So my point is that people will say stuff just to keep people talking and stay relevant. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what Tank does. Like, I didn't think that when Tank called out Conor Benn, I didn't think that was serious. Now, if the money would have been crazy, I mean, yeah, I think it would have happened if the money was a crazy amount. You know what I'm saying? Amount that you couldn't refuse. But as far as really going to 147 to fight Conor Benn, I didn't think that was serious. So. Could Tank do it? I don't know. I think 147 is too big for him. But I mean, what was he, like 5'5"? So that'd be tough. Maybe he could beat some people. But hey, I mean, Roy Jones went up and fought John Ruiz at heavyweight. But he fought John. No disrespect to John Ruiz and no disrespect to Roy Jones. I'm not saying that Roy Jones is scared of anybody, but there's a reason why he fought John Ruiz and he didn't fight somebody like Lennox Lewis. You know what I'm saying? So like some people are. Some like styles may fight stylistically, you know what I'm saying? So I think no one with any common sense thinks that because Roy Jones beat John Ruiz, while it's a magnificent, phenomenal feat, can't take anything from that. I think Roy Jones is one of the best, especially at his peak. But I think only a fool would think that Roy Jones could compete with any heavyweight. That's not true. But that heavyweight in particular, John Ruiz, Roy Jones could give him the business. So I do think that Tank could beat some people at 147, but do I think Tank could beat Terrence Crawford at 147? Hell no. Do I think Tank could beat, I don't know, anybody that's like a solid, very good welterweight? I don't think Tank could beat them. I think it's too much. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like even with Pacquiao. I remember when Pacquiao fought Margarito at 154, junior middleweight. And what did Pacquiao say after the fight? He said, oh, no, I'll never do this again. he said, yeah, I beat Margarito. And shout out to Pacquiao. Pacquiao a warrior, man. Pacquiao beat. I think Pacquiao could do it, but even then, he's like, you got to know your limits. They have weight divisions for a reason, right? So, Pacquiao said, no, even though he won. He beat Margarito, but he's like, no, I'm not doing this again. That's too much. So, I don't think people, I know we like bigger weight classes, but ain't nothing wrong with recognizing what division you're at and just ruling there. I mean, how many successful title defenses did Bernard Hopkins have at middleweight? Was it like 20 or something like that? So, if I'm not mistaken, I still think he has a record for successful title defenses. I'm not sure at the middleweight division, but yeah, you don't have to move. I mean, of course, people like to see people move up and challenge themselves, but and also it depends on how deep your division is too. But I don't think you necessarily have to move up in order to make a name for yourself, or at least not for me personally. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't spark my interest. Like, I mean, it's cool to see, but as far as I don't think it's like necessary, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Tank would. I think 140. I think that's it. I think any more than that, I don't think Tank would be as effective in my humble opinion. So I don't think he should go up more than 140. And I don't foresee him doing that either, unless it's like, you know what I'm saying, towards the end of his career and kind of do like what Floyd did or Pacquiao did, you know, or Floyd. But Floyd fought a young Canelo, which was at 154, right? I believe, or something like that, some catch weight or something like that. But yeah, I don't think Tank belongs up there, man. I'm definitely excited for Tank versus Frank, though. I think that's going to be a good matchup, man. I can't wait for that one. And then plus we got David Benavidez versus Alexander Vosdick on the undercard. That's gonna be. I think what's the guy's name? Jose Rayo Valenzuela. I think he's supposed to be fighting on that undercard as well. If I'm not mistaken, he's supposed to be fighting Edwin De Los Santos to get his revenge, you know, for his loss against Edwin De Los Santos. I think that's what they said. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I know that was a rumor. So, yeah, man. And then this weekend we also have who else? Jared Big Baby Anderson, the heavyweight, American heavyweight, fighting Mary. And then that's gonna be a decent card. Shoot, and then when is Naoya Inoue versus Luis Nery? That's coming up too, huh? Or is that no? That might be in May. I think that's in May. I think that's actually like May 18th or something like that. Something odd. No, May 18th is Tyson Fury. Let me see when Naoya Inoue and Luis Nery is. There's so many fights, man. May 18th actually might be George Kambosos and Lomachenko. I don't know. There's so many fights around this time, but I know they're coming up though. Let's see. Naoya Inoue versus Nery. Let's see when is that? That's actually May 6th. Yeah, May 6th is Luis Nery versus Naoya Inoue, and then we have Lomachenko versus Kambosos, which I'm looking forward to that one too. I actually have Lomachenko winning that. That fight is May 12th, you know, and then and I think May 18th is Tyson Fury versus Tyson Fury versus Usyk, right? I think that's actually that's May 18th. Okay, so yeah, May is gonna be a hot summer, you know. But yeah, so I just think I think the 140-pound division is good. I think it's stacked. I think 140-pound division is the best division in boxing currently, with super middleweight being second. I think you know, I will say this though, Richardson Hitchins, I would love to see that rematch. Like I think Adam said that, or somebody in the chat said that. I think that rematch is. I think Gustavo Lemos deserves a rematch if he wants it. I would like to see a rematch for them. But I always say this, Richardson Hitchins, while I do think that he won, I don't think that he did anything to raise his stock or raise his interest. You know, I was saying this too before that fight. I said, man, Richardson Hitchins needs a great performance. He needs to win impressively. Not saying necessarily by knockout, but he has to win in dominant fashion. So when people think about the 140 division and the top fighters, he doesn't get overlooked. But I still think even after that performance, even more so, he might fly under the radar, you know, at the 140-pound division, because let's just be honest, he didn't really he didn't leave a lasting imprint or a lasting impression. And it's never good when people feel like, even if it's undeserving, you know, it's still not good. It's still not good if you say, oh, what the heck is that? It's still not good if you say, what was that? Oh, I think those are my other notifications. It's still not good if you if people say that you have a robbery, you know what I'm saying? Julio in the building. Benavidez drinking Kool-Aid. You saw Benavidez out there, man, having a good time. You know what I'm talking about? During that fight, ain't nothing wrong with that either. But I think I still think Richardson Hitchins is gonna fly under the radar. But like, you still have some guys, you know, outside of the big guys. Of course, you got Teofimo, Subriel, Isaac People Cruz now, and Devin Haney. You still got Ismael Barroso that needs a title shot, right? Even though he's an older man, you know, I don't think he beats anybody of those four that I just named, but he's also there. You got Richardson Hitchins still there. You know. Sandor Martin still at 140. I believe they said Josh Taylor is moving up to 147. And Jack Catterall, so I'm not going to count them, but you still got Regis Prograis. Who else? Now 140 is deep, man. 140 is deep. Now, you still have Ryan Garcia. You know, so I don't know what Rolly Romero's gonna do, but he's still there at 140. You know what I'm saying? So it's deep, man, and that's just oh, you have what's the name? Arnold Barbosa Jr. You know what I'm saying? He's there. So 140 is pretty deep, man. And I know I'm missing some people too, but Who's Liam Paro? And like I said, Liam Paro, I think people are overlooking him, man. He knocked out Montana Love in the 6th round last time we saw him. So, you know, and then of course you got Jermaine Ortiz. I don't think anybody wants to see Jermaine Ortiz again, but you know, he disappointed me so much. But he's still there. And like I said, I'm still gonna count. I heard that Josh Taylor's moving up to 147, but I'm still gonna count him at 140 so far still. Who's the supercar consist of? Talking about Tank versus Frank, and then Dave Benavidez versus Alexander Vosdick, and then Rayo Valenzuela versus Edwin De Los Santos. Who else? I think they could do it. I'll be interested. I'll be interested in that card. But then I think the second deepest division is 168 though. I think about 168, man. 168, they have some interesting fights with 168, man. Of course you have Canelo. Of course you got Dave Benavidez, but then you got David Morrell. You got Jaime Munguia. You got Christian and Billy. You got Jamal Charlo. You got Caleb Plant. I think people forget about Caleb Plant. You got Edgar Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? That division is deep. I think people, Diego Pacheco, we just saw Diego Pacheco this weekend, right? So 168 is deep as well. And I think people forget about Caleb Plant, man. I'm not going to lie. I think Caleb Plant beats a lot of people, man. I think Caleb Plant beats a lot of people, man. In fact, I think the only two people that I would say that he loses to are the people that he lost to. He lost to Canelo by stoppage, and he lost to David Benavidez. Everybody else, I like Caleb Plant, man. I think Caleb Plant and Billy would be a very interesting fight stylistically. And Billy he's a nonstop go. He's a nonstop guy. I think him and Munguia would be a good fight, but Caleb Plant has great defense, right? So I don't know. I really want to see Jamal Charlo and Caleb Plant, because Caleb Plant slapped the shit out of Jamal Charlo. Caleb Plant slapped the shit out of Jamal Charlo.
Here you go. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm tired of that. It was so disrespectful. You done hit me in my mouth with some goddamn money.
Bro, Jamal Charlo got to get that back. And that's the thing, though. Some people that look at it as like Caleb Plant, disrespect Jamal Charlo. No, if you know the whole story, I think Jamal Charlo deserved to get slapped. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what Caleb Plant says that Jamal Charlo touched his face. You don't touch another man's face. He said he touched his face, and Caleb Plant told him not to touch his face, and he touched it again. So then he said, next time I see you, I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna put hands on you. He slapped the hell out of him. So I don't see nothing wrong with that, man. Plant versus Crawford at 168. Call me, bro, Jermaine, but bro, I don't think you're crazy, bro. I don't think you're crazy to have Plant. Why is that crazy? Jermaine, I don't think that's crazy at all, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who wins. As long as Jamal Charlo is mentally there, you know, say he's mentally healthy, you know, he go through his episodes similar to Ryan Garcia, you know, and depression and mental health is very serious. So as long as he's mentally there, I would lean like 60-40 for Jamal Charlo. However, when it comes to fight night, I'm gonna put money on whoever the underdog is, because I think I even think 60-40. I'll say 55-45 for Jamal Charlo. But I just put a little bit of money on whoever the underdog is. I think the underdog will probably slightly be Caleb Plant. Yeah, I would put the money. I'll just put money on whoever the underdog is, just to get the biggest return. I think that's a great fight, man. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're crazy for having Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant's a beast. I think Caleb Plant is criminally and significantly underrated, man. I don't even know if he's underrated. That might not be the right term, because I think people, when they think about 168 and they say Caleb Plant, they be like, oh yeah, I think he gets his credit, but I just think he goes under the radar, you know, until you think about it. He said Hitchens is trash. Lemo watched him. No, I disagree with that. I don't think you say somebody's trash off of one fight. And if he's trash, then you're saying that Lemos is trash. Then, I mean, if you beat somebody that's trash, then how can you say, how is Lemos good? You're good because you beat trash? People just contradict themselves so much. Whether you have Lemos winning or Hitchens winning, yeah, that's fine. I think it was a close fight. I had Hitchens winning, but Hitchens is trash is crazy. If it was trash, it wouldn't have been a close fight. That's why people are so upset, because for whatever reason, I think the right person won. Like I said, I think Diego Pacheco versus Sean McCalman was a closer fight, and I think the right person won in that one too. I think Diego Pacheco won as he should have, and I think Richardson Hitchins won as he should have. It's just that Gustavo Lemos had bigger moments because he's a puncher. So and he wobbled Richardson Hitchins, but that wasn't he didn't have enough moments. You know what I'm saying? He got outpointed. I don't think Hitchens is as good as I thought he was, but to say he's trash, I think that's crazy. Both Charlos need therapy. Yeah, you might be right about that, Carter. Please, he was sketchy with Jose. Those who's not. Yeah, I agree with that. A good test for Morrell. See, that's the thing. That's the thing about that, Julio. I don't want. See, that's the thing about. I like Caleb Plant, and I know I might be wrong for this because fighters fight, but I don't want Caleb Plant to become. And no, just I like Gabriel Rosado. You remember Gabriel Rosado? He's a warrior, man. But he became sort of like a gatekeeper, right? Like if you fought Gabriel Rosado, it's like he's a tough guy. He's not gonna give up. He's durable. He comes to fight. He'll fight anybody. He'll take all comers. But he became like a gatekeeper. Like if you could beat Gabriel Rosado, you know that you have the potential to be great. If you can't beat Gabriel Rosado, then you know that you kind of know your ceiling, right? It's an indicator of your potential. I don't want Caleb Plant to be that guy for elite fighters. So I don't want, like, he just fought David Benavidez. He just fought Canelo. I don't want to go fight David Morrell too. Like, Caleb Plant is, I'm not saying that Caleb Plant can't beat David Morrell. I just don't think that fight is necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Caleb Plant deserves better. Not saying, what I'm saying that is from David Morrell only has 10 fights. You see what I'm saying? David Morrell's still a young, he's still, as far as fights go, he's still a prospect. You know? So, I just don't think it's necessary for him to get somebody like Caleb Plant. Now, I feel like Caleb Plant should fight well-established big fighters just like himself, that are on his level from, not saying for skill, because David Morrell's a beast, right? We anticipate him to be just as good as anybody. He's the cream of the crop for skill. But I'm talking about as far as renown goes and, not celebrity, but, how can I say, recognize, how much you're recognized in the sport. How much you're recognized in the sport. I think Caleb Plant needs to fight fighters that are also well recognized. I don't want him to just turn into, somebody who just, a gatekeeper of sorts. But that would be a good test for Morrell. Thoughts on Vito White Magic at 154? What is his ceiling? Let's see. Vito, who's that? Let me see. At 154? Who's that? I'm not familiar with those names. I'm not familiar with him, Jermaine. 154. What's his name? Vito? It's White Magic. Let me see what it is. Maybe if I see his face. Magic Boxer. 154. Okay, yeah, I've seen him before. Yeah, I only see the highlight though. You talk about Vito Milnicki. Yeah, I already know him. I heard about him, and I seen the highlight of him, but I never seen him fight live. Yeah, so I don't really have an opinion on him. Yeah, I don't know if he's overhyped or not. I think he has, yeah, I see his face, yeah. I recognize him, but I don't have an opinion on it. I'm not too familiar with that guy. I recognize his face, though. Vito Milnicki. And what do you think about him? Both Charles need therapy? Yeah, I heard about, didn't Jermell Charles get into some trouble or something like that? Hey, man, the mental is nothing to play with, man. Money doesn't solve every issue. Money helps. I'm not one of those guys. I think that it's bad to have money. You know what I'm saying? Money helps. Money solves a lot of problems, but it doesn't solve every problem. And Charles might need some help. It's like Ryan might need some help. Mental health is real, man. I'm not too familiar with him enough to make an accurate opinion on him, Jermaine. I got to see more of him, baby. What are your thoughts on his ceiling, though? And who has he fought? Has he fought anybody notable? I remember I seen him on like an undercard or somewhere. I don't remember when it was. I don't remember if I saw an undercard of him fighting or a highlight of him fighting on something. But Charlo, and back to you too, Carter. When you say Charlo was sketchy against Jose Benavidez, I ain't gonna lie, man. Jose Benavidez Jr., man, he needs to find a weight, bro. I feel like his last 3 fights, if I'm not mistaken, let's look him up. I think his last 3 fights have been at 3 different weights, man. Like this man, Jose Benavidez, fought Terrence Crawford at 140 or 147. He just recently fought Jamal Charlo at 160 or 168, whatever weight class they fought. And then he fought, who else did Jose Benavidez fight, man? I feel like he's so much of a fighter that it kind of backfires on him. He needs to find a weight class and just get comfortable, man. Yeah, he fought Danny Garcia at 154. He fought Terrence Crawford at 147. Danny Garcia at 154. And then he fought Jamal Charlo at 166 or 168, basically. 160, really. You know what I'm saying? That's just he fought about what's so 3 different weight. He has L's in 3 different. All 3 of his losses came in 3 different weight classes. Like I feel like he's just too much of a warrior at some point. But yeah, Jamal Charlo struggled with him, but once again, I think that was his first fight off a hiatus, right? So I don't really hold. I mean, everybody's gonna, no one's gonna look spectacular every fight. So with Jamal Charlo, you know, he had over what? It was over 2+ year, 2.5. Was it 2.5 years? It was definitely 2 years. It was a 2+ year layoff. So I don't think there's one. Jose Benavidez is not he's a good fighter, and you know, I don't really hold that against him. He got the win. I don't think anybody would think it's controversial, but I will say that yeah, he was a smaller fighter. That's a fact. But I don't hold it against. Like, it's circumstantial, right? So it's not like Jamal Charlo struggled with Jose Benavidez. He's been active. He's been fighting. You know what I'm saying? He came back off a 2-year hiatus, and that was due to his mental health. So I don't hold that against him at all. I don't think it should be held against him, in my opinion. That's just my humble opinion. But I think he's to step up his activity though, and I would love to see him versus Caleb Plant. I would love to see him versus Caleb Plant, man. just from the fact that he slapped him, man. Just from the fact that he slapped him, bro. That's gonna be some good. Can you imagine that press conference? Boy, that press conference by itself will be funny. That press conference by itself will be funny, man. You know they're gonna bring up the slap, as they should. So I'm trying to think what else. What do y'all think about the Sky Nicholson and the Amanda Serrano fight? If that happens, you know, I know Amanda Serrano and like I said, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor supposed to be fighting again, which I have Katie Taylor in that rematch. What do y'all think about Sky Nicholson and Amanda Serrano? I think that'd be a good one. I might lean towards Sky Nicholson as well at this point in their careers, with Sky Nicholson being on the up and coming fighter, up and coming champion, and Amanda Serrano, you know. Well, she's not old, but she's definitely up there for a boxing profession, you know, and being on top of your game. Well, there's a lot of good potential fights out there, man. A lot of good potential fights. There's some fighters that I want to look into, and then like I said, we have the heavyweight fights this weekend that are coming up. And yeah, man, I think people should be excited for the fights we have coming up, man. There's a lot of good fights. 2024 has been a great year for boxing so far. In my opinion, man, there's been so many good fights, and it's just gonna get hotter and hotter as the summer approaches. You know what I'm saying? So I think we should be excited for boxing. If you really a boxing fan, I think we should be excited for this upcoming year of boxing, man. And I want to check this PBC card out too I want to see the Tank Davis versus Frank Martin potential card. Like I said, I know we have Alexander Vosdick and David Benavidez on there. I want to see the other potential card. Like I said, I know we have Jose Velasquez versus supposed to get his get back on what's my boy's name? Edwin De Los Santos. Who I'm not excited to see Edwin De Los Santos at all, because you know a lot of people blame Shakur Stevenson, but you got to blame his dancing partner too. They're both of their faults. So we're gonna see, man. You know who I really want to see too is I heard that they were talking about potentially I don't know if y'all heard this, but I heard that potentially they're supposed to have Demetrius Andrade versus, speaking of David Morrell, I heard we're supposed to have David Morrell versus Demetrius Andrade. Now that'd be, if Demetrius, I don't know if Demetrius is gonna stay at I don't know if he's gonna still fight. I don't know how true this is. I ain't looking into it myself. But if Demetrius Andrade is gonna stay at 168, well, I remember he said that might be too big for him. That'd be a good fight for David Morrell. Ooh, because Demetrius Andrade is a good fighter. You know, like I said, I remember he was complaining about, I don't want to say complaining, but he was just like that David Benavidez was a big guy. So I don't know if you were saying like that weight was too big for him as a whole, like the entire division, or just David Benavidez specifically, because you know they be saying talk about his weight bullying and stuff. But I definitely think that'd be a interesting fight right there, David Benavidez and David Morrell and Demetrius Andre. But we'll see how that goes. That's supposed to be that's potentially on the undercard of the Tank Davis fight too. So that would be a crazy card, man. That would be a crazy card, bro. Tank versus Frank, David Benavidez versus Alexander Gvozdyk. If Alexander Gvozdyk still has some more in the tank, you know he had a good fight with Artur Beterbiev. Then you have Jose Valenzuela trying to get revenge on Edward De Los Santos, and then you have Demetrius Andre versus David Morrell. If that's true, that'd be a good fight. And I know I also just read today too that Carmel Moulton, who was the young prospect out of Floyd's camp, TMT, he's supposed to be on the undercard of Canelo versus Munguia. So he's going to be on the May 4th card. I think that'll be his 4th professional fight. We just saw him fight Cuba. They were both undefeated, and he beat him. So, yeah, man, there's some fights that we got to look out for, man. So they're announcing these undercards, so we just got to pay attention and stuff like that. And I'm going to keep y'all up to date. Y'all know how I do as I hear about it, man. But, shoot, that's all I want to talk about today. Just wanted to check in with y'all real quick, man. I didn't really have much to talk about today, man, so I'm not going to keep y'all up all day, man. But don't forget to check out the videos, man. We drop videos daily. I appreciate y'all rocking me as always, man. We stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come through, man. We have more topics usually, but this was a pretty slow weekend. You know, we already covered all this stuff in the information. I mean, all the information in the videos today, man. And I hope y'all got to look out that solar eclipse as well. That was kind of dope. So God is good. You know what I'm talking about? So I appreciate y'all. Catch me on the flip side. I'll be back on Wednesday. Sometimes I do streams throughout the week as well, but at a minimum, I'll be on here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And of course, we cover all the fights, provide live boxing commentary. I think there might be a fight sometime throughout this week too. I want to say on Wednesday. I think there's a fight on Pro Box. So if there's a fight on Pro Box, I'll be on. Of course, I'll be on Wednesday regardless, but we might do the Pro Box live coverage. And I think there's another fight too throughout the week I saw somewhere. It might be on like a Tuesday, but I have to look it up. So either tomorrow or Thursday. I can't remember. But yeah, man, y'all know we here, man. That's why Canelo won't fight Benavidez. When Benavidez fights, he's always the bigger heavy. Yeah, he is. People accuse him of being a weight bully, and those accusations are. Like I said, I like David Benavidez a lot, man. I know people sometimes think that I don't, because I also like Canelo, but like I said, I like boxing, so there's very few fighters that I dislike. I really like David Benavidez, but I do think that the proof's in the pudding, right? I mean, he was stripped because he missed weight. He was fined another time because he missed weight, right? So these are not just allegations that don't have any type of truth to it, you know. Whether they say where there's smoke, there's fire. So now, how much of that is that enough to keep Canelo from fighting him? Should it be enough to keep Canelo from fighting him? I don't know, you know. But I will say this too, in Dave Benavidez's defense, he said that he'll take a rehydration clause. Now, still, I mean, even with that, still, you know, that's not, I know a lot of people put a lot of stock into the rehydration clauses, but that's not everything either. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still the night before, and you could, you know, if your body used to carrying a certain amount of weight, then it is what it is too. So I'm not gonna blame Canelo for not wanting to fight. I would love to see that fight. That's a fight I want to see the most, David Benavidez and Canelo. But at the same time too, I agree. You don't want to become in weight heavier than your opponent. You know, it's kind of like, I don't want to say cheating is too rough of an alley. It's not cheating, but it is setting yourself up for an unfair advantage. And I don't really like that either. It's like when Devin Haney, you know, as much as I like Devin Haney, I mean, that's what contracts and negotiations are for, right? So whatever terms that y'all agree with, whether y'all agree to rehydration clauses or the size of the gloves or who comes out first, whatever y'all agree with, the terms y'all agree with, y'all fight. So that's between y'all. But me personally, I don't like, you know, like when Devin Haney came in at 165 against Regis Prograis, he was moving up to fight a fighter in Regis Prograis at a higher. He moved up to fight a bigger fighter, and he came in way bigger than the quote unquote bigger man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, it's not cheating. But weight bully, yeah, I think weight bully is pretty applicable. So even to David Benavidez too, he'd be like, even with Caleb Plant, he was much bigger than. I mean, only a blind man wouldn't see how big David Benavidez was. Way bigger than Caleb Plant. You know what I'm saying? And way bigger than Demetrius Andre. You know, so I think sometimes we gotta look at. I know if we want Canelo and Benavidez, but And I'm not gonna say he's not ducking. I don't think he's ducking because to be ducking implies that you're scared. I don't think Canelo's scared of anybody. You know, I don't think too many boxers or fighters are scared. Men or women are scared of anybody that fight. But there is a reason why he's not fighting him. And you know, like I said, I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say he's not ducking him. I don't think he's ducking him. I think he has a good reason, and whatever his reason is, I'm sure I don't know, but I know I want to see that fight happen, and I do want to see it happen in fair terms. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no point seeing a fight if somebody got an advantage. That kind of defeats the purpose. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I do think that I'm also too, Julio. I do think that David Benavidez could easily make once. Bro, I tell people this. Bro, let's say David Benavidez beats Alexander Vazquez, which we think he will, but Vazquez's not a pushover, right? Vazquez had a good fight with Artur Beterbiev, and he was winning until Beterbiev knocked him out. You know, Beterbiev has a 100% knockout rate, and he knocked out Vazquez, you know, but he was losing that fight. But Vazquez has been inactive for like, what was that, 2 years ago? I'm not sure. Don't quote me on the time period, but I want to say, take that with a grain of salt. I want to say 2 years, though, he's been inactive. A lot of people thought he retired. So, if Vazquez, we're not sure if Vazquez is the same as he was, but if he was, you know, I don't know how much you watch boxing, but he actually beat Adonis Superman Stevenson. Remember the Haitian-born Canadian light heavyweight champion? He suffered brain damage, and that was against in one of his fights, in his last fight, and that was against Alexander Vazquez. So Alexander Vazquez is a good, and shout out to Adonis Stevenson. I heard he's recovering well. You know, he's not fully recovered, but he's recovering well. But Vazquez is not anybody to play with. But with that being said, I think David Benavidez, I think everybody anticipates David Benavidez to fight himself. I mean, to do well and beat Vazquez. But it's a good way. It's a good measuring stick to see how well he does against at 175. But my point that I was going to make to Julio's point about being the weight bully accusations, bro. Who thinks that? I bet you David Benavidez at 175. I bet you he's going to be bigger than Vazquez. And I'm telling you, if whoever wins between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol, if David Benavidez gets to fight the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol, I guarantee you, Benavidez is going to come in bigger than either one of them. I promise you he is. I promise you, Benavidez is going to be bigger than Bivol, and he's going to be bigger than Beterbiev. So you know what I'm saying? So if you're going to come in and you're going to be bigger than the guys that light heavyweight, you see what I'm saying? So I guarantee you he's going to be bigger than Bivol and Beterbiev. Bigger and heavier. Watch. He's going to be bigger than Vazquez too. Benavidez is a big guy. I think he probably should have been at light heavyweight for a while now, you know. So it just is what it is. Not saying that I don't want to see Canelo and him fight. I do want to see him fight. But these are things to consider too. I don't have my head in the sand, you know. These things I noticed. So, but yeah, man, I'm about to go ahead and call it, man. Appreciate y'all rocking me as always, man. I love y'all for real. Hopefully, I got to check out the solar eclipse. If not, go look at them pictures. That thing was beautiful. God is good. You feel me? Like I said, I'll be back on Wednesday at the very least. If there's a fight tomorrow, like I said, I could have sworn I saw one there's one like gonna be one in Japan or something like that. Don't quote me though, but I think I saw that. I'll be back on tomorrow if so, and if I have something to talk about, I'll be on. But definitely Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We always on, and of course we provide live boxing commentary for all the fights, which usually on Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays, sometimes on Mondays. Appreciate y'all rocking me as always, man. Love y'all for coming through, and don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that like button for your boy as well, man. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, man. Don't forget. Hell yeah, Jarmaine, appreciate you coming through, my boy. Appreciate that. Julio, appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that came through, man. Connor, everybody, man. Y'all be easy. God bless. We out. Peace. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. They moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.